In the previous session, you learned about the production expansion path. Production expansion path shows the equilibrium input combinations of a firm at different levels of output. So these isocost curves show different output levels. For example, here IQ1 shows one quantity, Q2 shows two quantities, Q3 shows 4 units, and Q5 shows Q1 shows the first quantity level, 2Q shows the second quantity level, 4Q shows the next quantity level, and 5Q shows the next quantity level. When we are moving to higher isocons, they represent higher output levels. When we are moving away from the origin, the higher isocosts, so higher isocons, show higher output levels. And these straight lines show the budget constraints, isocost curves. These straight lines are the isocost curves. They represent different cost levels. So this isocost curve shows $80. This isocost curve shows $100. And the next isocost curve shows $120. This one shows $180, and this one shows $300. So these isocost curves show different costs, different cost levels. And when these isocost curves and isocon curves are intersecting, that is where we find the equilibrium output levels. For example, to produce this 1Q level of output, the firm should combine 4 units of capital and 4 units of labor. And how much it should need to incur to produce this much level of output? They should incur $80. They should incur $80 to produce this much level of output. And to produce that much level of output, the firm should combine 4 units of capital and 4 units of labor. When expanding the output level from Q1 to Q2, when expanding its output level from 1Q level to 2Q level, it requires $100. It requires $100, and the firm will be able to produce 2Q level of output with a cost of $100 by combining 5 units of capital and 5 units of labor. Again, the firm can expand the output level from 2Q level to 4Q level. When producing 4Q level of output, it requires $120. It requires $120, and the firm will be able to produce 4Q units of output at a cost of $120 by combining 6 units of capital and 6 units of labor. Likewise, each of these combinations, each of these points show equilibrium input combinations. Equilibrium input combination. So this is equilibrium combination 1. This is equilibrium input combination 2. This is equilibrium input combination 3. This is equilibrium input combination 4. And this is equilibrium input combination 5. So at each a different input combination, they produce an output level. To produce that much level of output, they have to incur some cost. For example, at equilibrium input combination A, they produce 1Q level of output, 1Q level of output, and the total cost for that is 80 rupees. At equilibrium combination B, at equilibrium combination C, the firm produces 2Q units of output at a cost of 100. At equilibrium input combination G, the firm produces 4Q level of output at a cost of 120. And next, at the equilibrium input combination of J, the firm produces 5Q level of output at a cost of 180. And then lastly, at equilibrium input combination of R, the firm produces 6Q level of output at a cost of 300. So now we have output and cost details in this table. We have output data and we have cost data. Now the next step is to draw these cost data and output data in one diagram. So this is that graph. We have derived this graph against output levels, and the curve represents different costs required to produce these different levels of output. For example, to produce 1Q level of output, it requires how much? 80. It requires 80. To produce 2Q level of output, it requires 100. It requires 100. To produce 4Q level of output, it requires 120. And next, to produce 5Q level of output, it requires 180. And finally, to produce 6Q level of output, it requires $300. So likewise, we can draw these quantity data and cost data between these two axes. The vertical axis represents total cost and the horizontal axis represents quantity or output. Now, we can combine these points. We identify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. And after identifying these coordinating points, we can combine them, we can join them using a line. And this line is the total cost in the long run, or long run total cost. Long run total cost curve. This is the long run total cost curve. As we learned in previous sessions, in the long run, all inputs are variable inputs. In the long run, all inputs are variable inputs. Therefore, all costs are variable costs. There are no any fixed costs. There are no any fixed costs. That's why this long run total cost curve starts from the origin. The long run total cost curve starts from the origin. There are no any fixed costs. That's why it starts from the origin.
How fixed cost will not happen?
Because in the long run, the firm has the flexibility to change all inputs as they want. Therefore, in order to change the output level, even the inputs like buildings, machinery, they were fixed in the short run. Now in the long run, when it comes to the long run, the firm has the capacity, has the flexibility, increase their scale as well in terms of buildings, in terms of machinery, and other fixed items which were fixed in the short run. The production process is much more flexible in the long run. So based on this long run total cost curve, we can derive the long run marginal cost curve and long run average cost curve. We can derive the long run marginal cost curve and the long run average cost curve. Long run marginal cost curve and long run average cost curve both take U shapes. Both curves take U shapes. But importantly, we can see that here the two curves are intersecting. The two curves are intersecting. So it happens when the long run average cost is minimum. So what we observe here is long run marginal cost curve and long run average cost curve. They are intersecting at the point where long run average cost is minimum. Long run average cost is minimum. When long run average cost is minimum, long run marginal cost and long run average cost are equal. When long run average cost is minimum, long run marginal cost and long run average cost are equal. It happens because of the nature of the long run total cost curve. How the cost curves behave in the long run. The long run total cost curve initially increases at a decreasing rate, and afterward it increases at an increasing rate. Long run total cost curve initially increases at a decreasing rate. Long run total cost curve initially increases at a decreasing rate, and afterward it increases at an increasing rate. And long run marginal cost curve and long run average cost curve, they take U shapes. They take U shapes. And importantly, long run average cost and long run marginal cost are equal when long run average cost is at its minimum. So that's what you should understand here. The behavior of long run total cost curve, the behavior of long run marginal cost. Where should I go? Teams. Muted. Okay. Here we talk about the relationship between short-run cost curves and long-run cost curves. Short-run cost curves, short-run average cost curves, and long-run average cost curve. This is the long-run average cost curve. It combines different short-run average cost curves. The long-run average cost curve combines different short-run average cost curves. Because when we are observing production of one particular firm, we always observe their short-run operations. If we visit a production facility, if we visit a firm, what we observe is their short-run operations. So always we observe short-run operations of firms. Long run is simply the planning horizon. It's a planning horizon. So when the firm plans for its expansions, then that time horizon is called the long run. Long run is the planning horizon for expansions. Expansions. So this is its planning horizon. It expands. The firm expands its output. So when expanding the firm's output in the long run, this is how the long run average cost behaves. Long run average cost behaves when the firm is expanding its output. But the thing is, firms are always operating in the short run. Firms are always operating in the short run. So this is the short run average cost curve 1. It represents the scale 1. It represents the scale 1 at which this firm operates in the short run. In the short run, when the firm operates at scale 1, this is its short run average cost curve. Now the firm expand its output a bit up to this much level, of output. So accordingly, they face with a new scale, and that new scale is represented by short-run average cost curve 2. Again, the firm wants to expand its output, and after expanding its output, the firm is faced with a new scale, and that new scale is represented by short-run average cost 3. Again, the firm expands its output, and it faces with short-run average cost curve 4. So likewise, when expanding output, the firm faces different short-run average cost curves correspond to their different scales. For each single scale, there is a separate short-run average cost curve. And the combination of these short-run average cost curves is about the long run. It's about the long run. Always firms are operating in the short run. So this is the scale 1 in the short run. This is the scale 2 in the short run. This is the scale 3 in the short run. This is scale 4 in the short run. Likewise, they are expanding their output level up to 11th scale. This is the last scale that is shown here. So continuously they are expanding their scale. And when expanding their scale, they are planning for their expansion. And that planning horizon is called the long run. Got it? So the long run cost curve is tangent to short run cost curves at different scales. What we observe here is long run average cost curve. Long run average cost curve is tangent to short run average cost curves at different scales. Long run average cost curve is tangent to short run average cost curves at different scales. So these are the short-run average cost curves at different stages, at different scales. This is scale 1, this is scale 2, this is scale 3, this is scale 4. And the long-run average cost curve is tangent to these different short-run average cost curves like this. This is the long-run average cost curve. Here we have shown only 4 scales. In the diagram below, we have shown multiple scales up to 11. So this is a simplified version. This is a more complex version. So here we have shown only 4 scales. So this is scale 1 in the short run. This is scale 2 in the short run. This is scale 3 in the short run. This is scale 4 in the short run. What happens is long run average cost curve is tangent to short run average cost curves at different scales. So long run average cost curve becomes tangent to different short run average cost curves. like this. Here what we observe, long run average cost is declining when expanding the output, when expanding the scale, or when expanding the output level. What do we observe? Long run average cost curve is declining up to this point. This point is called the optimum scale. This point is called the optimum or optimal scale. Optimal scale is the scale at which the long run average cost is the minimum. Optimum scale is the scale at which the long run average cost is the minimum. Before reaching the optimum scale, what happens is long run average cost is continuously declining. Before reaching the optimum scale, long run average cost curve is continuously declining. When the firm expands its output beyond the optimum scale, when the firm is expanding its output beyond the optimum scale, what happens is long run average cost starts to increase. Long run average cost starts to increase. Over this declining portion, of long run average cost curve, the short run cost curves are tangent to the long run average cost curve in their declining portions. So I will show it more clearly here. This is the short run average cost for scale 1. Its minimum point is here. And this is short run average cost for the second scale. Its minimum point is here. And this is the scale that represents the minimum average cost. Short run average cost for the third scale, and the third scale is the optimum scale. Third scale is the optimum scale. Only for example, okay. For example, third scale is the optimum scale. So the long run average cost curve is tangent to these short run average cost curves over this range in their declining portions. So here, the long run average cost curve. The long run average cost curve is tangent to short run average cost curves in their declining portions. So this is the declining portion of short run average cost curve. Long run average cost. This is the long run average cost curve. long run average cost curve is tangent to short run average cost curves in their declining portions, not at the minimum point. This is the minimum point. The long run average cost curve is tangent to the short run average cost curve in their declining portion, not at the minimum point. Got it? Here also it happens. Long run average cost curve is tangent to the short run average cost curve in their declining portions. In their declining portions, not at the minimum point. Only at the optimum scale, the long run average cost curve is tangent to the minimum point of long run average cost curve. So this is the minimum point of short run average cost curve. Long run average cost curve is also tangent to the short run average cost curve at its minimum point. Got it? Before the optimum scale, long run average cost curve is tangent to the short run average cost curves in their declining portions. Not at their minimum points. Not at their minimum points. Only at the optimum scale, the long run average cost curve is tangent to the minimum point of short run average cost curve. At the scale, still the firm tries to expand its output. Still the firm is trying to expand its output. So these are the minimum points of short run average cost curve 4, short run average cost curve 5. So these are the minimum points. Beyond the optimum scale, what happens is the long run average cost curve is tangent to the short run average cost curves in their increasing portions. Not at the minimum points. Not at the minimum points. They are tangent to the long run average cost curve is tangent to the short run average cost curves in their increasing portions. Beyond the optimum scale, long run average cost curve is tangent to short run average cost curves in their increasing portions. Got it? This is how the long run average cost and short run average cost curves are related. Always we observe short run operations of firms. Long run is simply the planning horizon for the expansions of a firm. So when the long run average cost curve is declining, when the long run average cost is declining, we call it economies of scale. When the long run average cost is declining, we call it economies of scale. Economies of scale. So where the economies of scale exists here. Economies of scale exist over this range up to the optimum scale. Economies of scale, economies of scale exist over this range when the long run average cost is declining. When the long run average cost is declining. So economies of scale is a phenomenon in which long run average cost is declining. If you are asked to define economies of scale is a phenomenon in which long run average cost is declining. Beyond the optimum scale, what we experience is the long run average cost is increasing. Long run average cost is increasing, and that phenomenon is called diseconomies of scale. Diseconomies of scale. Diseconomies of scale is a phenomenon in which the long run average cost is increasing. And at the optimum scale, what do we observe is long run average cost is the minimum. At the optimum scale, long run average cost is the minimum. Declining long run average cost is economies of scale. Increasing long run average cost is diseconomies of scale. So these are the reasons for economies of scale. Technical economies of scale. Yes, in the long run, firms can utilize advanced technologies. Firms can utilize advanced technologies. When using advanced technologies, what happens is long run average cost is declining. And that is called economies of scale. In that case, the firm experiences economies of scale. Marketing economies of scale. When purchasing bulk quantities, what the firm can get? Quantity discounts. Because of quantity discounts, again, long run average cost will be declining. Long run average cost will be declining because of quantity discounts when purchasing bulk quantities of inputs and other resources. And also, when producing in a larger scale, per unit, per customer advertising cost will be very low. Per customer advertising cost will be very low. Again, long run average cost is declining. Since the firm is producing at a large scale, they can implement huge advertising campaigns covering a vast customer base. They can cover a vast customer base. When covering a vast customer base, using a huge advertising campaign, what happens is per unit, per customer advertising cost will be lower. Per customer advertising cost will be lower, and as a result, long run average cost will be declining. The same will happen in the case of transportation cost as well. When producing at a larger scale, they can establish a huge transportation network. So, for example, if the firm has expanded its scale so that they can cater to the entire island of Sri Lanka, they can, if they send their goods to Kandy, the same truck can be used to distribute to Batiklo, to Ampara, to Trinco, to Jaffna even. Then ultimately what happens? Their average transportation cost will be lower. So at large scales, average transportation cost will be low. That is about marketing economies of scale. Finance economies of scales, yes. When the firm is producing at a larger scale, they are financially more sound. Therefore, banks are ready to provide loans to this firm at a lower interest rate, and ultimately they can borrow at a lower cost. And as a result, average long run average cost will be lower. Well-established firms can obtain loans from the market at lower interest rates. At the same time, when the scale is large, they can diversify their products. For example, if it is coconut, if it is a coconut firm, coconut farm, if it is a coconut farm, when expanding its output, when expanding its scale, now they can produce a byproduct like canned coconut drink. So at larger scales, they can diversify their production. So at a lower scale, they only produced coconut to the market. But after expanding the market, now they can produce canned coconut drink. So likewise, when producing canned coconut drink and coconut both together, their cost will be long run average cost will be lower. Also, there can be managerial economies of scale because of division of labor and specialization. So since the scale is larger, each worker can be assigned to perform one single task, and that worker over time will get specialized in doing the same task. And with the specialization, ultimately, the workers' productivity will be higher. When productivity is higher, long run average cost will be lower. So this is how economies of scale happen. Economies of scale happen because of technical economies of scale, marketing economies of scale, financial economies of scale, risk-bearing economies of scale, and managerial economies of scale. It is better if you can remember at least 4 out of these with examples. Okay, sometimes we check the knowledge on economies of scale in the final examination, so better to memorize at least 4 out of these with examples, right? And the next thing is about diseconomies of scale. Diseconomies of scale arise because of the same reasons we discussed, but with some additional scale. managerial inefficiencies. What happens? When the firm is excessively large, communication will be lacking. Proper communication channels will be lacking. So what the top management needs will not be properly communicated to the ground level workers. So ground level workers will perform different tasks that would not be achieved. Ultimately, it would not achieve the top manager's objectives. Therefore, communication will be difficult when the firm is excessively large. So managerial inefficiencies will be there. Top management will not be able to control, will not be able to observe what the lower level workers are actually performing. Labor inefficiencies, yes. Since the monitoring is lacking, workers may perform some unnecessary tasks which are not related to the production process. Some workers may watch videos during work hours. Some workers may go out during work hours. Likewise, labor inefficiencies will be there. And also, if the top management fails to properly communicate to laborers what they should do, laborers will perform the intended tasks in the wrong way. So that also will create labor inefficiencies. Environmental factors, yes. When the scale is excessively large, pollution will create some extra costs to the firm. When pollution is huge, the firm may require to establish disposing facilities, garbage disposing facilities, and also there may be some fines imposed by the government because of pollution. So this will create long-run average cost to rise. All these reasons will cause long-run average cost to rise. Marketing diseconomies of scale, yes. When the scale is excessively large, there may be delays in distribution. So delays in distribution will create excessive extra costs. When bearing extra costs due to delays in distribution, long-run average cost will rise. Finance economies of scale, yes. When the firm is excessively large, finance managers will not be able to properly manage their portfolio. So there may be some losses at the end. Therefore, ultimately, long-run average cost will be high. So these are the reasons for diseconomies of scale. In diseconomies of scale, what happens is long-run average cost rises. So these are the reasons why the long-run average cost may rise in the long run at excessively large scales. Clear? Any questions? Sorry, I couldn't set up. Yeah. I couldn't set up the online quiz last week because I was quite a little bit busy during the last week. So actually, I have to get permission from the administration to set up a quiz to the LMS. So after receiving the permission and after receiving additional information from them, so I will put a notice on the LMS and maybe within the week starting from Today is 11, right? We will have the online quiz during the week starting from 20th of January. Okay. Week after the next week. You agreed to have the online quiz on Saturday evenings. Is that? Or Friday evenings? Saturday or Friday? What do you prefer? Friday evening is fine. Okay. And the time is it 9 to 10 or 10 to 11?
10 to 11.
10 to 11. Who prefer 10 to 11? 3, 4, 5. 5. And others prefer 9 to 10. And some those who prefer 9 to 10. Majority prefers 9 to 10. So we will go with that. 9 to 10 on 24th Friday. 24th Friday. And I will confirm it through an online through a notice on the attendance. Okay. And the next thing is I will be leaving the country for my PhD. So I will be teaching to you a group until 8th of Friday. So my flight will be on most probably on 13th or 14th. So I'm leaving the country for my PhD. So after that, Supon sir will take your class. You know Supon sir, who is a lecturer at SAP. He will be conducting the sessions afterward. Okay, the next section is about profit maximization. So now we learned the two sides, production side and the cost side. Because of production, firm can earn revenue. Because of production, the firm can earn revenue. Production is there, so they can sell their products in the market. They can sell their products in the market. As a result, they earn some sort of revenue. Also, because of production, they hire inputs, they use inputs. Because of the use of inputs, they incur costs. They incur costs. So because of the production, on one hand, they earn revenue. On the other hand, they incur costs. And the difference between revenue and cost is profit. Profit is the difference between revenue and cost. What we are going to discuss next is how the firm maximizes its profit. How does a firm maximize its profit? So when revenue is larger than the cost, there will be a profit. When revenue is higher than the cost, there will be a profit. When revenue is less than the cost, there will be a loss. When revenue and cost are equal, the firm will be earning, the firm will be facing a break even. So these are the three types of profits. When the firm is earning a higher revenue than its cost, the firm is earning profits. When the revenue is less than the cost, the firm is earning losses. When the revenue and cost are equal, the firm is operating at a break even. The profit will be maximum. The profit will be maximum when this positive gap between revenue and cost is the largest. Profit is maximum. Profit is maximum when this positive gap between revenue and cost is the largest. Profit is maximum when the positive gap means revenue is greater than cost. Profit will be maximum when the positive gap between revenue and cost is the largest. So we can show we will focus on the short run profits, okay? Short run profits. We put output on the horizontal axis and total revenue and total cost on the vertical axis. Total cost curve behaves like this. Initially, it increases at a decreasing rate, and afterward, it increases. This short run total cost. We are talking about short run profits. In the short run, we have a fixed cost as well. Therefore, the total cost curve it does not start at the origin. It has some fixed cost. This is the short run total cost. And what about the short run total revenue curve? Short run total revenue curve is a straight line. It's a straight line. It's a straight line. Short run total revenue curve is a straight line because price is fixed. Price is fixed for this particular firm. We are talking about a firm. A firm operating in a perfectly competitive market. In a perfectly competitive market. In a perfectly competitive market, individual firms are price takers. Therefore, the market price is fixed for this particular firm. If the firm produces 10 units and the price is 100, what is the total revenue? 10 into 100, 1,000. If the firm produces 20 units, What is the total revenue? 20 into 100, 2,000. If the firm produces 50, 50 into 100, total revenue will be 5,000. So these values will lie on a straight line against the quantity axis. If we draw them, 10 units, 20 units, and 50 units, and if we draw total revenue curve, these values will lie on a straight line because the price is fixed. Price will not change depending on the output level. At any level of output, price will remain the same. Therefore, total revenue curve will be the same. Sorry, total revenue curve will be a straight line. So in this graph of total short-run total cost and short-run total revenue, where do we find the maximum profit? Where is the profit maximized level? Where do we observe profits and where do we observe losses? Total cost is higher than total revenue here. So over this range, we have losses. Over this range, up to this point, we have losses because total cost is greater than total revenue. At this point, it's a break even. It's a break even because total revenue and total cost are equal. Here also we have a break even. At this point also we have a break even. Total revenue and total cost are equal. And what about this range? Total cost is less than total revenue. Therefore, over this range, the firm is faced with profits. The firm is faced with profits. Here we have losses, a break even, profits, again a break even. And with our eyesight, with my eyesight, I observe that the positive gap between total revenue and total cost is the highest somewhere here. The positive gap between total revenue and total cost is the highest here. Based on my eyesight, I observe that the total revenue and total cost, the positive gap between total revenue and the total cost is the highest here. Therefore, we can identify that this is the profit maximizing output level. This is the maximum profit. This is the profit maximizing output level. Before the profit maximizing output level, still we have profits, but not greater than this. Over this range also we have profits, but they are less than the maximum profit. Less than the maximum profit. Here also we have profits, but less than the maximum profit. This is the maximum profit the firm is earning. And that maximum profit is earned at Q star level of output. Q star level of output is called the profit maximizing output level. Profit maximizing output level. This is how we can find profit in the total approach. This is the total approach for profit maximization. Total approach for profit maximization. Total approach means we look at total revenue and total cost. Okay, under the total approach, profit is maximized when under the total approach, profit is maximized when the positive gap between total revenue and total cost is the largest. Do we have a positive gap here? No, it's a negative gap. Total revenue is less than the total revenue. So here we have a negative gap. Negative gap between total revenue and total cost. Positive gap is found only over this range, and the largest positive gap is here. This is the largest positive gap. That is why we identify it as the maximum profit. Okay, we will take a break of 10 minutes. Let's meet at 4:25. Yes. We finished discussing the total approach. In addition to the total approach, we have another approach which is called the marginal approach. In the total approach, our focus is on total revenue and total cost. In the marginal approach, our focus is on marginal revenue and marginal cost. Even though we have two different approaches, ultimately the answer will be the same, right? There are two alternative approaches. Both approaches will give the same results. They are alternative. Have you learned differentiation before? Differentiation? Calculus? No. Then you don't want to worry about this. Yes, this is what we discussed. And I showed only the total revenue and total cost curves before. Based on these total revenue and total cost curves, we can derive the profit curve. We can derive the profit curve like this. I showed only the total revenue and total cost curves. Based on the total revenue and total cost curves. We can derive the profit curve as well. Here, at these points, we have the break-evens. Break-evens means profit is zero. At these points, profit is zero. Here we have losses. Here we have profits. Profits are positive. So therefore, we have something like this. Losses are negative. Therefore, we have something like this. So this is the profit curve. Profit curve. And this may be where the positive gap is the highest. This is the maximum profit. Where the positive gap between total revenue and total cost is the largest. That can be seen from here as well. The positive gap is the highest. The positive gap is the highest here. We have the highest profit here, the largest profit here, or the maximum profit here. That is the maximum profit. So the output level corresponds to the maximum point is called the profit maximizing output level. Profit maximizing output level. At profit maximizing output level, what we can say about the slope of the profit curve? What we can observe regarding the slope of the profit curve? To measure the slope, we can draw a tangent line to this point. When we draw a tangent line to this point, it is a horizontal line. It's a horizontal line parallel to the quantity axis. So for any horizontal line, the slope is zero. Slope is zero. Slope of profit curve is zero at profit maximizing output level. Slope of profit curve is nothing else. We can call it marginal profit. Marginal profit. So at profit maximizing output level, marginal profit is 0. Slope of the profit curve is 0 at profit maximizing output level. Technically, slope of the profit curve is called marginal profit. So at profit maximizing output level, marginal profit is 0. At profit maximizing output level, marginal profit is 0. Marginal profit is the slope of the profit curve. Marginal profit is the difference between marginal revenue and marginal cost. Because total profit is total revenue minus total cost. With that logic, with that relationship, based on that relationship, we identify that marginal profit equals marginal revenue minus marginal cost. Total profit equals total revenue minus total cost. That is already understood. We learned it. So based on that relationship, we can derive this relationship. Marginal profit equals marginal revenue minus marginal cost. And we understood that marginal profit is 0 at profit maximizing output level. So at profit maximizing output level, marginal profit is 0. Marginal profit is 0. To have 0 for marginal profit, what should be the marginal revenue and marginal cost? Marginal revenue and marginal cost should be equal. Then only we have 0 for marginal profit. When marginal revenue and marginal cost are equal, that is where marginal profit is 0. So at profit maximizing output level, marginal profit is 0. At the same time, we can say that marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. To have 0 for marginal profit, marginal revenue and marginal cost should be equal. To have 0 for marginal profit, marginal revenue and marginal cost should be equal. Marginal profit and marginal revenue and marginal cost are equal at the profit maximizing output. So this is the marginal approach. In marginal approach, profit is maximized when marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. In total approach, profit is maximized when the positive gap between total revenue and total cost is the largest. So those are the two approaches. According to the total approach, profit is maximized when the positive gap between total revenue and total cost is the largest. According to the marginal approach, profit is maximized when marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. In other words, when marginal profit is 0. Got it? So going beyond that, let's discuss some additional stuff here. Marginal revenue is what? Marginal revenue is what? Marginal profit is the slope of the profit curve. Marginal profit is the slope of the profit curve. Then marginal revenue should be the slope of total revenue. Marginal revenue is the slope of total revenue curve. Marginal cost is the slope of total cost curve. Marginal revenue is the slope of total revenue curve. Marginal cost is the slope of total cost curve. Similarly, as we did here, we can draw tangent lines to measure the slope of curves. To measure the slope of curves, we can draw tangent lines. So if we draw a tangent line to total revenue curve, it looks like this. At profit maximizing output level, if we draw a tangent line to total revenue curve, it looks like this. At profit maximizing output level, if we draw a tangent line to the total cost curve, it looks like this. What do you observe? The two tangent lines we draw to total revenue curve and to total cost curve, they are parallel. Parallel means their slope values are equal. Slope of these two tangent lines are equal. Lines are equal. This tangent line measures what? Slope of total revenue. Slope of total revenue is what? Marginal revenue. The slope of this tangent line measures slope of the tangent line to total revenue curve is marginal revenue. Slope of tangent line to total cost curve is marginal cost. Since the slope of both tangent lines are equal, what do we understand? Marginal revenue and marginal cost are equal at profit maximizing output level. Marginal revenue and marginal cost are equal at profit maximizing output level. So we can show that marginal revenue equals to marginal cost condition for profit maximization is there in this diagram as well. We can show this condition in this diagram as well. Slope of the total, the slope of tangent line to total revenue is marginal revenue. Slope of the tangent line to total cost curve is marginal cost. When we draw tangent lines to total revenue and total costs curves at profit maximizing output level, what do we observe is they are tangent. Sorry, they are parallel. They are parallel means their slope values are equal. Since their slope values are equal, we can say that at profit maximizing output level, marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Here also we have something similar. If we draw a tangent line to this point, that tangent line is parallel to this tangent line. So here also we find marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. This tangent line measures the slope of total revenue. This tangent line measures the slope of total cost. And since both tangent lines are parallel to each other, we can say that at this output level, let's call it Q1. At Q1 also we have MR equals MC condition. Can we consider this output level also as the profit maximizing output level? No. Why is that? Over this range we have losses, not profits. Only over this range we are experiencing profits. So even though MR equal MC condition is there at Q1, it is not about profit maximization. It's not about profit maximization. So MR equals MC condition is a necessary condition but not sufficient. It's a necessary condition but not sufficient. Because in all cases where MR equals MC condition is satisfied, they are not profit maximizing. There are some cases where we don't see profit maximization. Instead, we see loss maximization. So MR equals MC condition is necessary but not sufficient to decide profit maximization. MR equals MC condition is necessary. It should be satisfied, but it is not sufficient. So there should be another condition to confirm that the firm is experiencing profit maximization. The firm is experiencing maximum profit when MR equals MC. So MR equals MC condition is the first condition. There should be another condition. There should be another condition. Is slope of marginal cost should be greater than slope of marginal revenue. MR equals MC condition should be there. It's necessary but not sufficient. Necessary but not sufficient. Because when MR equals MC condition is satisfied, sometimes it's about loss maximization, not profit maximization. Therefore, it's necessary but not sufficient to confirm that. To confirm that it's about profit maximization, it's not about loss maximization. We should have a secondary condition. That is, slope of marginal cost should be greater than slope of marginal revenue. Slope of marginal cost should be greater than slope of marginal revenue. Here, what do we observe? What happens to the slope of marginal revenue? What happens to the slope of the slope of total revenue curve? Slope of total revenue curve is, it's clear from here. Slope of total revenue curve is increasing. Slope of total revenue curve is increasing. Here, slope of, not slope, total revenue. Slope of total cost curve is increasing. This is the total cost curve. This is the total cost curve. When we are moving up, slope of total cost is increasing. Slope of total cost is increasing. What do you observe here? Slope of total cost is declining. Slope of total cost is declining. So over this range, slope of total cost is declining. Over this range, slope of total cost is increasing. What is slope of total cost? Marginal cost. So over this range, marginal cost is declining. Over this range, marginal cost is increasing. And what about the slope of total revenue curve? Slope of total revenue curve, it doesn't change. It's constant. Total revenue curve is a straight line. So for any straight line, the slope is fixed. So at any point on the total revenue curve, slope is the same. So slope of total revenue curve is fixed. Slope of total revenue curve is marginal revenue. So marginal revenue is fixed. Marginal revenue is fixed. It's a constant value. It's a constant value. So now we can draw the marginal revenue and marginal costs in a separate diagram. Q is here, marginal revenue and marginal cost are shown on the vertical axis. What do we understood about marginal revenue? Marginal revenue is a fixed value. It doesn't depend on the output level. Marginal revenue is a fixed value. Marginal revenue is a fixed value. It does not vary with the output level. And what about marginal cost? Marginal cost, initially, it's declining and reaches the minimum, and afterwards it increases. Marginal cost is declining and afterwards it increases. That's what we understood from the previous diagram. Marginal cost is declining here and afterward it increases. Marginal cost is declining over here, over this range, and afterward it increases. That's how marginal cost behaves. Declines and afterward it increases. So we understood that MR equal MC condition is necessary for profit maximization. MR equals MC condition is the necessary condition. For profit maximization. So at this point, we see MR is equals MC. At this point also, we find MR is equal to MC. But only one between these 2 points will be profit maximizing output level. This point corresponds to Q1 level of output. This point corresponds to Q2 level of output. Can we consider both Q1 and Q2 as profit maximizing output levels? Only because at these points MR is equal to MC? No. Only one between these two will be profit maximizing output level. What is it? What is it? To decide that, we have to look at the second condition. What is the second condition? Slope of MC should be greater than slope of MR. Where the second condition is satisfied? At Q1 level or at Q2 level? Look at here. What happens to the slope of MC? It's negative. Slope of MC is negative here. At Q1, slope of MC is negative. Slope of MR is not positive. It's 0. 0. Which is greater, 0 or negative? 0 is greater. 0 is greater. So is this second condition satisfied over there? What is the second condition for profit maximization? Slope of MC should be greater than slope of MR. Do we see that condition satisfied here? No. The opposite is here. So this is not profit maximizing. Here at Q2, slope of MC. Slope of MC is positive. Slope of MR is 0. So which is greater? Slope of MC is greater. Do we see this condition satisfied? Yes. Then only Q2 is profit maximizing. So MR equals MC condition is necessary but not sufficient. So to confirm that the profit maximizing output level is there, we have to look at the second condition as well. The second condition says that slope of marginal cost TC is greater than the slope of marginal revenue. Slope of marginal cost is greater than slope of marginal revenue. So this is where loss is maximum. This is where profit is maximum. Profit is maximum at Q2 level. We can call it Q star. Got it? So in the marginal approach, we have to look at two conditions. First condition is MR equals MC. The second condition is slope of MC should be greater than slope of MR. Yes. We finish discussing profit maximization. So these concepts we discussed regarding a perfectly competitive firm. These models are developed based on a profit maximizing, a perfectly competitive firm. This discussion is about a perfectly competitive firm. Okay. So this ends with profit maximization. We discussed short-run production theory, short-run cost theory, long-run production theory, long-run cost theory, and profit maximization. Particularly, we talk about short-run profit maximization. We talked about short-run profit maximization because here you see some fixed costs are there. Some fixed costs are there. So these figures are for the short run. The same principles can be extended to the long run as well. The only difference comes with this. In the long run, we don't have fixed costs. So the long run total cost curve will start at the origin. Even in the long run, we will have straight line for the total revenue. Total cost curve, the only difference comes with this because we have no fixed costs. Long run total cost curve will start at the origin. That is the only difference. Otherwise, the principles we applied here can be applied to find the long run profit maximizing output level as well. Clear? So even in the long run, we apply the same two conditions. MR equals MC and slope of marginal cost should be greater than slope of marginal revenue. This is true for, these two conditions are true for both short run and long run. Short run and long run. From here onwards, we will mostly rely on this because marginal approach is easier to deal with. So in most of the cases in the upcoming discussions, we will refer to the marginal approach rather than to the total approach. Later, refer to analysis. Okay. Now we move on to the third session of our course, which is perfect competition. From this point onwards, we will be talking about market structures. Market structures. You can access the past papers through this link. Past papers. Yes. Then you will have separate folders for separate subjects. We will have a separate folder for business economics as well. And there are papers developed by several lecturers. I joined this institute last year. So I think I don't see my paper here. But you will see the papers for the previous semesters. So you can open these papers and go to the relevant questions on production and cost theory. Production and cost theory. Yes, this is about profit maximization. An entrepreneur owns a building that he intends to turn into an electric car shop. His first property is to purchase a specific number of electric cars for the shop. From the survey information, he projects that the total revenue per year is as follows. Where Q is the number of electric cars, it is estimated that a total of $8,000 is spent to purchase each electric car. The entrepreneur will manage the shop, however, he will not receive a salary. Instead, he will keep the profits. He has been approached with offer of $40,000 to oversee another car sale owned by a competitor and $200,000 to sell his building. He recognizes that a normal return on a risky investment such as car sales is 20%. Determine the number of electric cars that the entrepreneur should order to maximize his profits. What is his economic profit? Yes, it's an advanced question to you. I don't. Yes. It's something difficult for you, maybe. So my scope is something different because different lecturers and professors, they have their own scope. My scope is a bit simplified, but I go in depth. Okay. So I will give some sample questions to you, then you can easily understand my nature of asking questions. So rather than referring to previous past papers, it will be easier for you to refer to my own questions. So similar questions will come at the final examination also, but don't expect 100% similar questions. Yes. So I will prepare some sample questions and share with you through the LMS so then you can attempt them. If you have some areas that you face difficulties, then you can talk to me. Okay. Past papers are something somewhat difficult for you because These papers were set by different professors and lecturers. So you may not be comfortable with those. Yes. Okay. I will share some questions in the meantime. Okay, let's move on to the third session of today's discussion of our course. It's about market structures. We basically talk about 4 market structures. What are the 4 market structures? Most of you have done economics in your levels. What are the 4 market structures? Perfect competition. Yes. Monopoly. And the other two. Monopolistic competition and oligopoly. Yes, those are the 4 market structures. If we put them on a scale, on a horizontal line, on one extreme we have perfect competition. On the other extreme we have monopoly. And in between these two extremes we have oligopoly and monopolistic competition. Monopolistic competition is closer to perfect competition or to monopoly. Monopolistic competition is closer to perfect competition. Monopolistic competition is closer to perfect competition. And oligopoly is closer to monopoly. So this is how we can put the 4 market structures on an arrow. On one extreme we have perfect competition, on the other extreme we have monopoly, and in between those two extremes we have monopolistic competition and oligopoly. Monopolistic competition is closer to perfect competition. Oligopoly is closer to monopoly. The main feature, the key feature based on which we categorize these market structures is number of firms. Here, in this case, we have a large number of firms. A large number of firms. In monopoly, we have only a single firm. In monopolistic competition also, we have a large number of firms. Large number of firms. In oligopoly, we have a few firms. A few firms. The term few is not defined. It can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 10, it can be 20, it can be 50. Anyhow, it should be a countable number. Countable and sufficiently smaller number. Not a very large number like 10,000, 100,000 or something. It's a countable, smaller number. That is the number of firms is the main feature on which we can identify the market structures. There are other features as well. So this session is devoted to discuss perfect competition. A perfectly competitive market is one in which there is a large number of buyers and sellers. Large number of sellers are there. At the same time, there are large number of buyers of a homogeneous product. The product is homogeneous. What do you mean by a homogeneous product? An identical product. Product is the same. Each seller sells the same product. Identical. The consumer cannot distinguish the product sold by one seller from the product sold by another seller. The consumer cannot distinguish between the product sold by one seller from the product sold by another seller. They are perfectly identical. That is what we understand by homogeneous. Products are homogeneous. Products are homogeneous. So we identify three features. What are those? There is a large number of buyers. Also, there is a large number of sellers. And the product is homogeneous. And neither a seller nor a buyer has any control over the price of the product. Since there are large number of sellers, one particular firm represents only a negligible share of the market. One firm represents only a very small portion in the market. Therefore, this small firm, by changing his quantity, this particular firm cannot significantly influence the market price. So market price is set by the market demand and market supply forces, demand in the market and supply in the market. So by changing the quantity supplied by this particular firm, this market price cannot be changed because it has only limited power, very limited power, a negligible power. At the same time, in the market, we have large number of buyers. By changing the quantity demanded by this particular customer, market price cannot be changed. Market price cannot be changed. Because this particular customer represents only a very small fraction of total market demand. This particular customer represents only a very small fraction of total market demand because there is a huge number of customers. There is a huge number of buyers. Here also the same. There is a huge number of firms, huge number of sellers. So one firm represents a negligible portion in the market, negligible portion of the market share in the market. Therefore, these small firms cannot influence the market price. Both neither a seller nor a buyer has any control on the price of the product determined in the market. Price is determined in the market. Individual buyers and individual sellers do not have any power to control the market price. Okay. So those are the key features. We have a large number of buyers and sellers. Product is homogeneous, and both buyers and sellers are price takers. Since they don't have any power to control the price, they are price takers. They are price takers. They take the price determined in the market. They can't set their own price. They can't set their own price. They are price takers. They are not price makers. They can't set their own price. It represents an extreme market structure, yes, of course. It's an we rarely see perfectly competitive markets in the real world. It's a rare phenomenon. Perfect competition is a rare phenomenon. But there are approximately closer markets to perfect competition. For example, in large countries, most of the agricultural markets, most of the agricultural product markets are perfect, are closer examples for approximate examples for perfect competition. For example, in the United States, market for eggs. Yes, we have a large number of buyers. We have a large number of sellers. Products are homogeneous. And sellers and buyers may not have control over the price because market price is determined by the demand and supply forces. But there are some features which are lacking. Perfect information on price and goods. Perfect information and price and goods may be lacking. This is also one important feature of perfect competition. Perfect information on price and goods. Customers or buyers and sellers both have perfect information. Both have perfect information. Buyers know the production costs. Buyers know everything about the seller. Sellers also know everything about the demand of the buyers. So they have perfect information. Perfect information. Cost information, production information, cost information, pricing information, all are known to the buyers. Demand related information of buyers are perfectly known to the sellers. So every information is perfectly known to both parties. Can we expect this idealistic situation in real world? No. Even in the United States, we see large number of buyers are there, large number of sellers are there, products are homogeneous, and sellers and buyers, they don't have power to control the price. But in this respect, it's not perfect competition. Eggs market in the United States may not be perfect example for perfect competition because this condition, this feature may be lacking. Also, no entry and exit barriers. This condition also, this feature also may be lacking in the eggs market of the United States because it needs some capital to establish a farm to produce eggs, right? It needs some investment. So sometimes the investment may be huge. So huge investment requirements may avoid newcomers to enter the market. So there are entry barriers. There are entry barriers in the market. Also, there are exit barriers in the market. Since a farm has already spent a huge investment for the farm, sometimes it avoids the farm exiting from the industry because they have already spent a lot on the farm. So because of such reasons, entry and exit barriers will be there. So this feature of no entry and no exit barriers also will be lacking in the eggs market in the United States. But product homogeneity, yes, of course, it's there. Large number of buyers and sellers, yes, of course, there. And the other feature, both buyers and sellers are price takers. That feature is also there, but these two features are lacking. But approximately, X market in the United States can be considered as a perfectly competitive market, but some features are lacking. Likewise, there are approximate examples for perfect competition, but we can't find a perfect example for perfect competition. So these are the key features: large number of buyers and sellers, product homogeneity, no entry and exit barriers, perfect information on price and goods, and also buyers and sellers are price takers. Buyers and sellers are price takers. So these are the key features of perfect competition. That there are real world markets which satisfy some of these, but they may lack some features like this. That's why we say perfect competition is a rare phenomenon. Okay, this is how the price is determined in the market. This is the market. This is the market. We have market demand, we have market supply. When market demand and market supply forces are intersecting, that is where the equilibrium price is determined. This is the equilibrium price in the market. In the market. As we learned before, sellers or firms are price takers. Since this is about only one single firm in the market, since there are a large number of firms in the market, this individual firm may not be able to influence the market price. Therefore, this individual firm has to follow the price determined in the market. This individual firm has to follow the price determined in the market. So this individual firm takes this price as their own. This individual firm takes the price determined in the market as its own price. As its own price. And at this price, the firm is ready to provide any quantity as they can produce. At this market price, the firm is able to provide any quantity that they can produce. Q1 or Q2 or Q3 or Q4 or Q5 or Q6. They are ready to provide any quantity that they can produce at the price determined in the market. Therefore, the demand curve faced by this individual firm, is a horizontal line. It's a horizontal line. This is about the market. This is about the firm. In the market, with the interaction of demand and supply forces, equilibrium price is determined. Since individual firms do not have any power to control the market price is taken by individual firms as their own price, and at that market price, firms are ready to provide any quantity as they can produce, so that the demand curve faced by individual firms in a perfectly competitive market is a horizontal line like this. Here. Firms are price takers. Short-run equilibrium. Yes, I told you that at the end of the previous session, we discussed profit maximization under two approaches, total approach and marginal approach. When I was finishing that session, I told you that all those concepts we discussed related to a perfectly competitive firm. Those profit maximizing approaches, total approach and marginal approach that we finished discussing short while ago, they were discussed based on a perfectly competitive firm. So here we see the same approaches, okay? Nothing different. Nothing is different. So we can find the profit maximizing output level under the total approach when the positive gap between total revenue and total cost is the largest. Yes. In the marginal approach, we should follow two conditions. MR should be equal to MC. At the same time, slope of marginal cost should be greater than slope of marginal revenue. So nothing is different. Yes, this is what it is. Here we have the MR equal MC condition. And the second condition is also satisfied. What is the second condition? Slope of MC should be greater than slope of MR. Slope of MR is 0. Slope of MC is positive. So the second condition is also satisfied here. Therefore, we can call it the profit maximizing output level Q star. We can use simple Q here because this is about a single firm. We can use capital Q to show market quantity. We can use simple Q to show quantity of firms. It's up to you. It's up to you. Notations doesn't matter, but if you want, you can use capital Q to show market quantities, simple Q to show firms quantities, but I don't worry about much about your notations. Even if you want, you can use capital Q to denote firm's output level. That is also fine. Nothing is wrong. So here I have used simple Q, so don't get confused. It's again about the quantity. If you want, you can use capital Q. So this is Q star, profit maximizing output level. Also, we can call it the equilibrium output level. Equilibrium output level or profit maximizing output level. Equilibrium output level or profit maximizing output level. Both mean the same thing. Okay, that is about the marginal approach for profit maximization. If we extend this marginal cost curve like this, here also we see MR is equal to MC. Here also we observe that MR equals MC condition is satisfied, but the second condition is not satisfied here because slope of marginal cost is negative, slope of marginal revenue is positive, sorry, slope of marginal revenue is 0. So 0 is greater than the negative value. Therefore, the second condition is not satisfied there. As a result, this output level is not profit maximizing output level. Okay, that's what that is about the profit maximization in the marginal approach. I'm repeating it because we will follow this approach in perfect competition. Yes, a perfectly competitive firm can earn 3 different levels of profits in the short run. In the short run, a perfectly competitive firm can earn either economic profits or economic losses or can operate at the break even. When operating at the break even, we also call it the firm is earning a normal profit. So all these three possibilities are there with a perfectly competitive firm in the short run. In the short run, a perfectly competitive firm can either earn economic profits or economic losses or can earn a normal profit. So all these three possibilities are there. Normal profits. Profit is the difference between total revenue and total cost. How to calculate total revenue? How to calculate total revenue? Total revenue is quantity multiplied by the price. We are talking about the firm, right? So if you want, you can use simple Q here. So quantity multiplied by price is the total revenue. Then what is total cost? What is total cost? Total cost is quantity multiplied by average cost. You may have learned that average cost is total cost divided by Q. In short run and long run cost theory, you learned that total cost divided by Q is the average cost. So by applying cross multiplication, By applying cross multiplication, we learned that total cost equals Q into AC. So that is what we use here. Total cost equals Q into AC. And what is this profit? It's profit. Profit equals total revenue minus total cost. Total revenue is Q into P. Total cost is Q into AC. So ultimately profit equals Q into P minus Q into AC. Do we see any common fact, common term on the right hand side? Yes, Q is common. Q is common. When we see a common term, we can take it out. We can factorize it. So when taking Q out, P will be left in the first term. AC will be left in the second term. So I simplify this expression as this by taking the common term, which is Q, out. Then it becomes Q into P minus AC. Q into P minus AC. Still it is about the profit. Still it is about the profit. This profit can be economic profits, or it can be an economic loss, or it can be a normal profit, or a break even. Normal profit is also called as a break even. When economic profit is there, profit is a positive number. When economic losses are there, profit is a negative number. When there is a normal profit, profit is 0. Right? When economic profits are there, profit takes a positive number. When economic loss is there, profit takes a negative number. When normal profits are there, profit is 0. Profits are 0. So we can understand in which situation a particular firm is operating at. We can understand in which situation it can be either this or this or this. We can identify what is the particular situation that a particular firm is facing by simply looking at the price and average cost. When price is greater than average cost, there will be an economic profit. When price is less than average cost, there will be an economic loss. When price and average cost are equal, there will be a normal profit. So by simply looking at the price and the average cost of a particular firm, we can decide whether it is earning an economic profit, whether it is earning an economic loss, or whether it is earning a normal profit. It is enough for us to see, it is enough for us to compare the price and average cost, to decide which profit situation a particular firm is facing. When price is above the average cost, firm is earning an economic profit. When the price is below the average cost, the firm is earning an economic loss. When the price and average cost are equal, the firm is earning a normal profit. So let's go to the graphical representation of these three situations separately. So I draw price, average cost, marginal cost, price, average revenue, marginal revenue, average revenue, marginal revenue, average cost, and marginal cost, all in one diagram. This is again about a firm. This is again about a perfectly competitive firm. Perfectly competitive firm. So what is the demand curve? It's a horizontal line. It's a horizontal line for a particular firm. This demand curve represents the equilibrium price in the market. So this is the price. In perfect competition, price, average revenue, marginal revenue, all are equal. Price, average revenue, marginal revenue, all concepts are identical. In perfect competition, price is equal to marginal revenue. Also, it's equal to average revenue. Let's say the market price is 100. The firm sells 10 units. What is the total revenue? 1,000. And also, at the next step, the firm sells 20 units. Total revenue will be 2,000. Again, the firm sells 40 units. Total revenue will be 4,000. And calculate average revenue and marginal revenue. Average revenue is total revenue divided by Q. Marginal revenue is change in total revenue divided by change in Q. Change in total revenue divided by change in Q. At the first level of output, what is the total average revenue? 1,000 divided by 10, it's 100. At the second level of output, average revenue is 2,000 divided by 20. Again, it's 100. At the third level of output, average revenue is 4,000 divided by 40. Till it's 100. And what about marginal revenue? We can't calculate marginal revenue for the first output level because we don't see the previous output level for that. So we keep it a blank. And for the second output level, change in total revenue is 1,000. Change in total revenue is 1,000. Change in output level is 10. And the answer is 100. For the third output level, change in total revenue is 2,000. And change in output level is 20. And marginal revenue is 100. Don't you see that price, average revenue, marginal revenue, all are equal? Yes. Price, marginal revenue, average revenue, all are equal for a perfectly competitive firm. They are equal for a perfectly competitive firm. That's why we show price, marginal revenue, average revenue using a single line which is horizontal. This is the demand curve because it represents the prices. Demand curve represents the prices. At the same time, it represents the average revenue and marginal revenue. Marginal revenue. And what about the marginal cost? Marginal cost curve takes a U shape. It takes a U shape like this. Marginal cost curve takes a U shape like this. And what about the marginal cost? Sorry, average cost. Average cost also takes a U shape like this. Average cost also takes a U shape like this. But particularly, we have to be careful about this point. Marginal cost curve should go through the minimum point of average cost curve. It's based on economic theory. Marginal cost curve should pass through the minimum point of average cost curve. Marginal cost curve should go through the minimum point of average cost curve. So in examination or in anywhere else, when you are drawing average cost and marginal cost curves, this condition should be satisfied. Marginal cost curve should go through the minimum point of average cost curve. At that point, average cost and marginal cost values are equal. Okay. So where is the profit maximizing condition is satisfied? Where the profit maximizing condition is satisfied. What are the two conditions for profit maximization? MR should be equal to MC and slope of MC should be greater than slope of MR. Where these two conditions are satisfied? Look at the first condition, where it is satisfied. MR, this is MR, this is MC. The two curves are intersecting at this point. It's Q. What about the second condition? Is it satisfied at this Q level? Slope of MC positive, slope of MR 0. Positive value is less than 0. Therefore, the second condition is also satisfied. With that understanding, we can call it the equilibrium output level or profit maximizing output level. To understand whether this firm is earning economic profit or an economic loss or a normal profit, what should we look at? We should look at price and average cost to determine whether this firm is earning an economic profit or economic loss or a normal profit. Obviously, we should look at the price and average cost at profit maximizing output level. At profit maximizing output level, what is the price? Straight to profit maximizing output level, you have to go to the demand curve to find the price. To find the price, straight to profit maximizing output level, you have to go to the demand curve to find the price. So this is the price. This is the price. To find the average cost at profit maximizing output level, straight to profit maximizing output level, you have to go to the average cost curve. So this is the average cost at profit maximizing output level. To find average cost at profit maximizing output level, simply you have to go to the average cost curve straight to Q star to find AC. So which is greater, P or AC? Price is greater. Price is greater than average cost. So according to our learning, this belongs to a condition of economic profit. Economic profit. It's about economic profits. How much is the size of the economic profit? What is the size of the economic profit? We learned that total revenue is Q into P. Total cost is Q into AC. Now we are talking about profit maximizing output level. Maximum profit at profit maximizing output level. So Q star into P will be the total revenue at profit maximizing output level. Q star into AC will be the total cost at profit maximizing output level. And the difference will be the economic profit. Difference will be the economic profit. So what is the total revenue at profit maximizing output level? Q star into P star. Q star into P star. So this area will be the total revenue at profit maximizing output level. Q star into P star. And what is the total cost at profit maximizing output level? Q star into AC. Q star into AC. So total cost at profit maximizing output level will be this much. Total profit is the shaded area with blue color, and total cost is shaded area with green color. Total revenue is greater than total cost, and this excess is the maximum profit. The excess is the maximum profit. So this is the excess amount. This is the economic profit. Maximum economic profit. The maximum economic profit. At any other output level, profit will be less than this. At any other output level, profit will be less than this. So this output level will report the maximum profit. And the size of the maximum profit is this much. Size of the maximum profit is this much. That is the difference between total revenue and total cost. Okay. Let's think about another situation. We have the same diagrams. Average revenue, marginal revenue, equilibrium market price, average revenue, marginal cost, and average cost. This is marginal cost, and average cost will look like this. Where the profit is maximum, we should look at the two conditions. MR equals MC, and slope of MC should be greater than slope of MR, where these two conditions are satisfied. MR is equal to MC at this point. The second condition is also satisfied. So this is the profit maximizing output level. To decide whether this firm is earning an economic profit or an economic loss or a normal profit, we should look at price and average cost at profit maximizing output level. What is the price? You have to go straight to the demand curve. You have to go to the demand curve straight to Q star. So this is the price. Go to the demand curve straight to Q star. To find average cost, go to the average cost curve straight to the equilibrium quantity. So this is the average cost, which is greater. Average cost is greater. price is less than the average cost. So as we learned before, when price is less than the average cost, it's about an economic loss. It's about an economic loss. Here, price is below the average cost. Price is below the average cost. Total revenue is P star into Q star. So this is total revenue. Total cost is AC into Q star. This is total cost. Total cost is greater than total revenue. So there will be a loss. And total loss is this much. This is the total loss. This is the total loss. This is the total loss. Clear? We will talk about the other situation also quickly. This is the demand, average revenue, marginal revenue. We show price, average revenue, marginal revenue, average cost, and marginal cost all in this diagram. This is the marginal cost. And this is the average cost, where the profit is maximum. Profit is maximum when at this point. Marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. At the same time, the slope of marginal cost is greater than the slope of marginal revenue. Therefore, this is the profit maximizing output level. To see whether this firm is earning an economic profit or an economic loss or a break even, we have to look at price and average cost at Q star. At Q star, price is this much. At Q star, average cost is also this much. So price and average cost are equal. In this situation, the firm is earning a normal profit. The firm is faced with a break even. Total revenue is P star into Q star. Total cost is AC into Q star. There is no profit. Profit is zero. Profit is zero. Normal profits are there. Normal profits for the entrepreneur are there. Otherwise, economic profit is zero. So these are the three situations that a perfectly competitive firm can face in the short run. This ends today's session.